What's up, guys? Fudge Waggio back with another deck profile. Who are we with?
We are with VE to the double OE of the 60 card cartel. It's the 60 card God, and you know what it is.
He just won a whole PS5 today in our tournament. Went through a field of Malice and Ryziel.
Hey, you know.
And yeah, let's get into the deck profile. What'd you play?
So I played that 60 card Yubel. You know, that dead deck. You know. Shout out. Hold on, before we start. I'm gonna give a shout out to a couple people. Shout out to Austin Myrick. You know, according to the polls, he's number one. But more importantly, shout out to my teammate right here, David.
Yes, sir.
We came up with the concept of what we played today. I think our cards were like 5 lists different. I played one engine.
Yeah, you played Bystials, I didn't. I was 51, you were 60.
Yeah, so we came up with this in like 2 hours because we expected a lot of Ryziel, and Ryziel doesn't grind as well as the Bystials the other day. But we played Yubel. So 60 cards, because this deck isn't dead. So,
yes,
3 Beckoning Beasts, Chaos. We got the 3 openings back. They should have never done that. Obviously, you got the standard stuff. There's no need to explain any of this. I went back to 2 bells. I think he stayed at 1 Yubel. There's too many awkward situations where like 1 Yubel isn't enough for me. Maybe I'm just playing the deck on a different dimension, but I always feel like the second Yubel comes up more than not. If you draw it, you draw it. If you don't, you don't. It's fine.
Yeah.
2 spirits, also 1 tarot card. We're not going crazy playing the crazy brick dude. Like, he's good, but like, I mean, I wouldn't call him good, but like in like terrible scenarios, you can blow this up and then insert. Well, actually, this has to be from deck. Either way, you don't want the other guy unless you're playing like the eternal favorite list, and we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Not right now. 1 Shavar.
Yeah.
And then of course Fiendsmith cards. The only thing that's kind of controversial is people are not playing Lacrima. I don't understand why you're not doing that.
Yeah, that's...
we didn't play Necroquip, just a spoiler, because, well, I didn't play Necroquip. He still kept Necroquip in his list, just because I don't think Necroquip changes the math on anything that this particular variant does, so it doesn't really help me at all. And then we got what arguably the MVPs of my deck today.
Yes, sir.
Bystials. So we decided to go with a heavier Bystial count. This is actually lighter than what we came up with last night, about 1. We were playing 2 sword in there, and we ended up settling on 1 just because we just needed space for other non-engine cards. But going first into Malice basically never play if you get to Lubellian. Your Lubellian puts regain on the field, they banish to try to summon their guy back, you shuffle it back and draw 1. So them trying to play gives you a +1.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. And they can't OTK through this.
Yeah. Just bodies against Ryziel.
Then we played some hand traps. 1 nib because, so I tested 2 last night and I drew it no games. Yeah, so I said, fuck it, we're going to play 1. And I drew it when it counted, so that's all that matters. Plus, like, it's the worst, like one of the worst 6 cards. Hand traps, I end up going, yeah, I know I don't like 3-ofs, but in this format, these are the only 2 3-of hand traps I played. I think David's list was pretty similar, where we played 3 and 3. 2 Drolls, I like it still. 2 Ogre. This is kind of so-so, but like, we expected Ryziel. There wasn't as many, or there were, but I didn't play any. I think he ran into...
I didn't run into any Ryziel.
No Ryziel players. So
I played against 1.
We kind of avoided that. We got the Malice players. So these... post side, if you're expecting there to be more Ryziel, you main these. And if you're expecting there to be more Malice, you main some other. You swap them out for like the Molches or whatever.
Yeah.
And for siding patterns, it actually worked out perfectly. Then the spells, you know, the 2 traps, the 4 thrones.
Oh, yes, sir.
3 gates.
Oh, yes, sir.
We played 2 pains because with Ryziel out here, there's not a guarantee that you're going to have. I mean, I stayed on 2, so I didn't really go to 2, but we stayed on 2. Just because with Ryziel out here, even though the deck doesn't really hurt Yubel, it is important to do this. Sometimes you just activate 1 as bait. Oh, shit. Sometimes you just activate 1 as bait, and a bad player will just be like, oh, okay, and they'll blow it up on activation and assume you don't have another one. That's dumb. If you're smart, you'll just blow it up on the activation of the effect.
Yeah.
Call by, which just won me the finals. And then another thing we went with is 3 tactics. We talked about this is one of the things we cut the extra sword in there for. Because this deck ceiling is still higher than like the rest of the meta contenders, like all you want to do is avoid being hit with like hand traps or being able to play. So you want to be able to play. So sometimes you can get Mo Charmy. My list ends on a half board, so I can give them 1 or 2 cards and then rip their hand. So they end up with like 8 cards. So you basically just bump them down to a 0-sum game.
Yeah.
Also in the mirror, you want to take Caesars. Against the Cashtira list, you want to take their monsters and use bodies. It's a numbers game. We got Sonic Chick 1-for-1 because that card's good. I think I resolved 1-for-1 one time today. It doesn't matter. We have like 30 starters in our deck.
Yeah.
Chaos Space for the Lubellian, and then we played 2 Regain for the same reason we played 2 Nightmare Pain.
Yeah.
It is recyclable by this, but we want to make sure to save this for getting back Nightmare Pain so that we always have something in rotation. The card's really good. You open up crazy. And then the 3 traps. Shout out to Fudge for the super.
I got you.
And then Fiendsmith in Paradise is just a crazy card. This is a reason why I don't play Necroquip, because Necroquip doesn't change the math on this. If Necroquip changed the math, we would probably still be playing it, but it doesn't. Fiendsmith in Paradise, when you get mulched, you can end on kind of a half board or a third of a board or whatever, with just enough interruptions where you can still play the game.
Yeah.
We'll
That's the 60.
That is the 60 card main. We'll go, which one, side or extra first?
Hey, let's do extra first.
Extra. The extra really isn't spicy besides like 2 card choices.
Okay.
So we'll get to the basic stuff. The Caesar, the 1 Phantom. But this deck has infinite Phantoms because we play Branded Regain and we play 3 field spells. So I have like 10 Phantoms. I have more Phantoms now than I had when we before the ban list. Then you got the Fiendsmith cards. The Fiendsmith package. There's not a whole lot. The only thing about our package, well, my package is different because we did have 1 card. He played Chaos Angel, and I played this guy. This let me OTK a Malice player at 7,500 life points. And that's how I won that match. Shout out to Willoughby, a really good guy.
Yeah.
So the difference is like I want to push harder through the playback. So I get you build the unbreakable board, or you build with the mulches, you build the half boards, and then these are infinite as long as you don't like get Bystial in like a mirror match or whatever. But this is like an infinite count. So they're 1-ubs, but they're like 10-ubs.
Yeah. Just loop them.
Because of Regain, you only need 1 Yama.
Yeah.
In your combo, you can go through and just do a bunch of stuff. Some basic stuff. The only 2 things we did different, and if you have Muckracker, if you see any profile, y'all know I historically hate this card. But now with Malice and a card in the side deck, we really have to play this card. It makes Aerial Eater basically a side deck card, so you can just do what you want. But the only thing we did different, Almirage came back because of the gates. If you're not on this, you should be on this. We tested without it last night, and every situation where we could have kept playing involved us having this in the extra deck. So if you open up Beckoning Beast, you go Beckoning Beast, they imperm. If you already have gates, then it's just bait. You turn into the Almirage. Then you can go Bystial, which gets you to a full Fiendsmith combo, or you go gates and just play like you want to anyway. So, and then for us, we decided, y'all saw the Azure room, so y'all knew the rabbit was in here.
Yeah.
So the rabbit is how, if you get more Charmies, you end on basically a half board, where you end with this and Lacrima in your graveyard. And then, so you get the Fiendsmith and Paradise set up for your opponent's turn. You set this. Maybe you get a Phantom. So you give your opponent a couple cards, but it's still so much interaction in this slow format where deck ceilings are pretty low. This and Fiendsmith from Paradise into a Rozil board is still enough for the most part. We don't really have to worry about it. I don't think there's a situation where this could have been. He played Chaos Angel. I think he and Necroquip. So the only difference is I don't think he played Rabbit. So he didn't play Rabbit. He didn't play Rabbit in Link 3. His list played Necroquip and Chaos Angel, which were the 2 discussion points. So they both work. I mean, we played each other in the finals, so it's not.
Yeah.
Proof of concept is there. That's the end of the extra deck. And then the side deck was. This was the roughest thing for us last night because there's so many cards you should side.
Yeah.
And there's just no space. So we have a couple of differences in spaces. Phantasme was the card that I went with. I don't know what did you go with instead of Phantasme?
I was siding like the Ogre and Drolls.
Yeah, so
and I was maining the Mulch armies.
Yeah, so that's the swap because I sided the Charmies, did not draw them, did not use
draw.
them. He borrowed my chummy and used it more than me. It's crazy. So, I mean, in Malice, going second, you on all of these.
Yeah.
But also, the strategy for getting rid of Malice cards is pretty simple. This is why you need Muckracker now. Because this card, in combination with this, going first, if you know you're on Malice, you make the Muckracker. I mean, you go Eater dumps this, make Muckracker bring it back. They have to play into this and through the rest of your board. So
Nasty.
instead of making Caesar, which is still okay, this just does anything better. It doesn't start a chain, so they can't use talents. Their extra deck, nothing in their extra deck really outs this. The only thing they can do if we don't have Nightmare Pain up is go Unicorn or whatever, crash into it and like cause damage. But other than that, there's nothing they can do. So these are our Malice cards because Malice is a much tougher matchup for us than Rozil, just because in a simplified game state, winning the die roll, there's like a 2% chance we lose to Rozil. It's not really. It's if they win the die roll, cool. If they don't, then we went with tactics. I wanted 3, but David was right. I suck at playing side deck cards like this because they're only as good as the things you have in your side. We didn't play Rozil, so this didn't come in. This didn't come in, and then this is really for like the cheesy stun decks. Like that's the only reason. You have to respect them. Just lose games you shouldn't lose.
Right.
So those are all the targets. I feel like the side deck will change though. The format's changing. So these cards are just kind of whatever. I don't think this card. I'm not sure about everybody else, but I think maybe these will turn into like XYZ Encores.
Yeah.
Versus, and this may come out all together because it's only good really in the mirror if they don't get the full board. If they get the full board, then I think David, you're playing what 2, 3 of these?
2 evenly.
So he has more chances of getting it evenly than I do. But I think maybe I cut this, maybe the thrust, and then go for something like Encore and some other stuff like that. But that's the deck, man.
Any shoutouts?
Shout outs to my team. Shout out to the Card Cartel.
Yes, sir.
Boy. Again, shout out to my testing partner over here.
Protege.
My teammate. Shout out to my boy Swift, who didn't believe in me and has called me a fraud for the last
That's crazy.
half a decade. That's still my brother though, so nobody disrespect him, not too much.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the guys, man. Shout out to everybody who played today. It was a really solid. It was a smaller crowd than we expected, but it was a really solid group of dudes, and we played well.
Yeah.
So we'll see y'all in the Little Rock Regional next week.
All right.
Well, I'm judging, but I'll see y'all to get y'all penalties.
Yes, sir. All right. Thanks for your deck profile, and we will see you guys hopefully when I get unbanned next time.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.